Hey guys, it's Brooke. Welcome back to Books with Brooke, and today I'm going to be doing a fall TBR. So before we start talking about the books, I just want to explain to you guys that from now on I'm going to be doing a seasonal TBR instead of a monthly TBR like most booktubers do, because monthly TBRs don't work for me. So I'm just going to be doing a TBR that I want to read each season. And I just wanted to let you guys know, and let's get into the first book. The first book that I'm going to be talking about is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This book is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles, and it is a Cinderella retelling, and we follow Cinder, who is half cyborg, half human, and she is a mechanic, and one day she gets asked to help Prince Kai fix his robot that hasn't been working, and we follow her and Prince Kai and her stepmother and stepsisters because it is a Cinderella retelling, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I'm about 40 pages into it, and it's pretty good so far. So let's get into the second book. Okay, so the second book that I'm going to be talking about is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, and this book is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles, and this book is a retelling of Red Riding Hood, and I don't know what this book is going to be about, but I do know that it builds off of Cinder, and we still see Cinder in Scarlet, so this is going to be very interesting, and I can't wait to finish Cinder to see how Scarlet is going to play out. And let's get into the third book. The third book that I'm going to be talking about is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Monsters by Riordan. So this is the second book in the Percy Jackson series, and the reason that I started reading the Percy Jackson series is because one of my subscribers asked me if I read Greek mythology, and if so, if I could recommend a book based on it. And I didn't really like Greek mythology until I started reading the Percy Jackson books, and the first book was super good. We follow Percy Jackson, who is a demigod, the son of Poseidon, and he goes to a camp named Camp Half-Blood, which is a camp for kids like him who are the sons of gods or goddesses, and it's really interesting. And he has like special powers since he is the son of Poseidon, like water powers, and it's really cool. And this is going to be spoilers if you did not read the first book. So to this part, if you were planning on reading the first book of Percy Jackson, don't listen to this part of the video because it's big spoilers, and I don't want to spoil anybody, so I just wanted to let you know. But we follow Annabeth and Percy and Grover, who are his friends from Camp Half-Blood, and Grover has been captured by a Cyclops, and the camp is dying off, and they need something to save the camp. So they go and find Grover, and they find the fleece, which is this magical like piece of fleece that is supposed to heal things, and they're trying to bring it back to the camp, even though that this was not their quest. This was somebody else's quest, but it's they had to help them try to save the camp. And I'm almost done with it. I think I have like 100 pages left, but this book is super good, and I can't wait to get the rest of the Percy Jackson series because it is super entertaining, and the books are very short, and I'm loving all the books so far. So let's get into the fourth book. Okay, let's get into the fourth book. So the fourth book that I have for you guys is a series of unfortunate events, The Vile Village by Lemony Snicket. So this book is the seventh book in a series of unfortunate events series, and this series follows three children, the Baudelaire orphans, who have became orphans because their parents died in a fire, and they lived in a mansion. And this man named Count Olaf is going after them from place to place to try to get their fortune. And in this book, just got back from the place that they were at in the sixth place. I can't quite remember where they were at, but they're now in this village where everything is super weird and they have a lot of rules, and they're staying with this man, and it's kind of predictable what's gonna happen. Count Olaf is gonna show up and like try to take the fortune, and it's gonna be super good because I'm really enjoying this series and I can't wait to see how it plays out, because I think that it's only like 6 more books left, but I'm not sure because this series is super long. So that was the last book that I had to talk about. So make sure to subscribe if you like books, like or dislike. That just really shows me how you feel about certain types of content. And make sure to comment down below if you have any videos that you want to see me do, or if you have any books that you think that I would like or you want to recommend me. So I hope that you guys are having a good day or night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye! Okay, so the second book that I'm going to be talking about is Scarlet. The third book that I'm going to be talking about is without further ado, that was one day. Cinder gets a visit from the prince of the land, Prince Kai, and she is asked to help him with his robot, and he goes to her because she is the best mechanic in town. And we follow Cinder and Prince Kai and her stepmothers and her stepsister, since it is a Cinderella retelling. I would recommend this book if you are just getting into fairy tale retellings. I think it will be an easy book to get into because it's fairly easy to read, and I just started reading it yesterday and I'm really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to read more of the Cinder books. So I can't wait to read more of the Lunar Chronicles. So let's get into the second book. Okay, the first book that I'm going to be talking about is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Cinder is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles, and it is a Cinderella retelling, and we follow Cinder, who is half cyborg, half mechanic, and she is a mechanic. Okay, the first book that I'm going to be talking about is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This book is a Cinderella retelling, and we follow Cinder, and Cinder is a half cyborg, half mechanic. And okay, so the first book that I'm going to be talking about is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles, and this story is about a Cinderella retelling, and we follow our main character, Cinder, who is a half cyborg, half mechanic, half cyborg, half human, and she is a mechanic. And we follow her with her stepmother and her stepsisters until one day she is working at her mechanic booth, and she gets a visit from the prince, and he asks her to fix his cyborg because she is the best mechanic in town. So this book is really good so far. I started reading it yesterday, and I'm really excited to continue with the rest of the Lunar Chronicles. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to be talking about is The Good. Make sure you read the first book if you want to listen to this. I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts and my wrap up of what I think of Cinder, because I think that I'll finish it in October, or whenever I finish it, I'll give you guys my thoughts about it. So, she gets an offer from Prince Kai to she gets, and the books might increase because I am a pretty fast reader, and once I really start liking a series, mostly I'll just read the whole series. So the books might increase, which will make the videos longer when I do TBRs. So from now on, let's get into the video. And a fall